viewer or two to join in so we know that we are live. And we are. We are. Awesome. Perfect. So let's begin. Hello and welcome to Momentum Office Hours. My name is Yash and I'm joined by my co-founders, Jay and Kaushik, to discuss topic of the week, building AI sales agent for SaaS firms. How can SaaS firms build sales agents using AI? Our goal with these sessions is to provide you with actionable insights and practical strategies that you can apply to your own business. Throughout the session, we encourage you to engage with us by asking questions and sharing your thoughts. This is a fantastic opportunity to learn from each other and gain new insights that can help drive your digital initiatives forward. So let's get started. Jai, Kaushik, how are we doing today? Today is a Saturday, so I'm sure no meetings. Or were there any meetings?
I didn't have. I was supposed to have one, but like it got postponed to Monday.
Ah.
So just preparing for the Monday now. So yeah,
Ah, awesome. So, does that mean that you weren't prepared for the meeting today? Like,
nah,
had it
nah.
happened today, if you're preparing for Monday, it means that we had the meeting today, though. No?
So it's basically I prepare for the entire week for the coming
Acha,
week. So
okay.
things together now. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Awesome. So, we're going to talk about building AI sales agents for SaaS. And before we dive into that, Jai, you're going to take us through how and why and what to do with building AI sales agents for SaaS. And so before we do that, so tell us what are like agents we've heard, what are sales agents, and then maybe you can share your screen and we can go through the whole day.
Sure, yeah. So basically, I'm going to cover that. As you can see, it's 33% of my slide on what are
Yeah.
AI sales AI agents. But just to answer that, these are basically you can consider AI-enabled softwares which basically assist in getting certain processes of sales done. Uh,
Mhm.
how they are different from basic automation or regular tools. We're gonna have a little deep dive, understand some use cases, and see through as well. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so
Awesome.
the
So let me bring it up to the screen. Can you share that? I'll
yeah,
pull it over
sure.
here. And maybe we could go through that because I just realized that I asked a question that spoiled your flow of the deck. So I just pause myself and maybe you can take us through.
Yeah, so can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes, it's up on and live on the stream as well. So we're ready to go.
Awesome. So as you already mentioned, this time's topic is building AI sales agents for SaaS, transforming basically your sales with AI. So now we have sales, AI in every process of our businesses, or that's what at least we are trying to help our clients with. Obviously, sales is something where one should have AI utility, and that's why we have been doing series of sessions where we also talk about how AI can be helpful. So last time we also talked about what AI tools you can utilize in each and every stage of your sales processes. Now this time is more about building AI agents on top of it. This time it's going to be more of an introductory part where we will discuss first upon three main things. One would be why should we use AI agents utilizing sales, and the next would be like what they actually are and how they are different, because there are a lot of confusion between people on what is the difference between basic automation and what will sales agent do in that, and then how you can utilize in your organization as well, right? So we'll have pointers towards that as well. So to get started, as we can see, so let me just come to the place where why do we need it, right? Since we already use AI for other things, it's not like we just need to do it for sales as well. But the primary reason is because of the increasing, competition throughout, especially from SaaS standpoint. Um, CAC for getting customers is increased. So, for example, there's a large, like you can say, there's a rising customer acquisition cost. Certain reports showcase that it's already it has risen to around 70%, and that's why overall profitability hampers up, and growth strategies also need to improve for sure. and that we can also see in lots of newspapers and things, all the news and all the place as well, right? That a lot of companies are not able to survive well because of their CAC. Ultimately, the SaaS companies which were very well funded even are also now shutting down just because they have not been able to optimize in their profitability as well. So this is one of the reasons. The second thing would be the sales cycles, uh, which were earlier smaller. Now because of the competition, the potential prospect has a lot of options to choose from, and that's why it takes very longer timing for them to get into it. So if there are any AI agents, or if there is any process which could like reduce that time, then that would be helpful. So this is one of the reason. And the third would be like sales processes when completely handled by human, or large amount of it when handled by human, could have some gaps. So for example, there could be too much of time in qualifying the leads. Then there could be 78% reports also showcase that 78% of buyers go with the fastest responder. Personalization at scale is also tough because let's say you are supposed to reach out to 50 prospects, or one salesperson is supposed to reach out to 50 prospects in a day. um, doing personalization for 50 of them becomes very tough, right? Because they need to, so let's say if there is a there's a LinkedIn message that you want to do. You want to just reach out as a cold message, but in that also you would want some personalization. I can, if I am supposed to do that, I won't be able to every time check on their feed, just see what last posts were about, and then talk about the same, because I would have other work as well. In the same way, it's not possible, right? So that's the larger chunk of it. So what if all of these things can be done through AI? So we have already talked about how AI tools can do it. Now we can also talk about how like sales AI agents can automate these processes by making tools talk to each other and get the process flow done step by step. So um, the other benefits I would like to also talk about is with utilizing AI agents, 20 to 40% of tasks can be automated. It will definitely have very faster response, and faster response would lead to more conversions. Um and then you don't need additional head count to just scale. If you just want to capture a new market, then you can just replicate the same process through agents, and you don't need a dedicated team just to handle that particular market to a larger extent. Am I audible, Yash, or is there a?
Yeah, yeah, loud and clear. And the points that you are making are also echoing. So, yeah, this is 20 to 40% of tasks being automated is, and I think out of the four, while the other things are financial gains, the fourth one, which is cleaner, richer CRM data, is something that is of most appeal to me. Right? I might not care about more money or more efficiency or anything like that, but I have over the last 15 years of my work life, I've never seen a clean and rich CRM. Right? It's either clean and not rich, or it is rich and not clean, or it is neither. Right? Having it both clean and rich is amazing, especially like from my perspective.
Yeah, definitely. So lot of benefits for sure. There's two ongoing. Kaushi, you want to say something?
No, I was gonna bring up this point that, like, are we, from the past three slides, what I'm seeing as a pattern that you're trying to make a point of, are we saying that most of the knowledge work that happens for a salesperson in his day-to-day task, those are something that will be the first set of things that, or first set of tasks that will get automated or augmented by an AI agent? Is that what we are arriving at?
So not the initial processes for a salesperson, right? The overall work of entire sales cycle, it varies from business to business. But to answer your question, it's not just about processes before the main salesperson gets started. Is that what you are trying to ask? You mean that pre-sales part of sale gets covered up, and then salesperson will still be needed to get things done? Is that what your question about?
No, I'm specifically asking about the knowledge work that a particular job does, right? Like, for example, you mentioned that to create a personalized response for a particular for 50 profiles, one has to go to every individual person's feed, understand what sort of a create a persona for each one of them. Now, we are saying that which was a knowledge work that you are actually seeing, understanding, and coming back and creating a personalized, message for that particular person.
Yeah.
So are we saying that for those kind of tasks, which is a knowledge work task, the AI
Mhm.
agents are going to be in some form of help for the salesperson? Is that what we are arriving at? Is my question.
Yes, 100%. 100% for gathering the knowledge. That makes sense. So two things, right? Whatever you asked, answer to that is yes, but it is not limited to that. Is what I would like to say. There are other things where AI agents can be helpful. So what we are talking right now is more about the enrichment part, lead enrichment, where we are talking about getting
Yeah.
more information so that that could be utilized. But the other piece would be generating, having a communication, and also predicting. So one could be first of all finding out the right relevant data. The second would be about generating the content relevant to it, and the third piece would be also I mean, second could be predicting, and then third which would be generating the data or generating the content to it as well. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes it clear. So I think the term knowledge, if we just call it intelligence, it would be more. It will make things a little simpler for us and for people to understand, right? So all the knowledge work may not be like the knowledge work can be helpful, but think of it this way: that as a salesperson, people will continue to buy from other people. So AI cannot sell or close the whole transaction, but for the salesperson, everything that they need to know, they will know that and more to be able to facilitate the sale or accelerate the sale or augment the sale, whatever the case may be. So I think we can say that this will make things it will make it more intelligent.
Yeah, 100%. And hence it increases the efficiency of sale as well, right? Because
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things that also happens is so that I may not. So here's a good example of this, right? Where so as an example, if today you create a mobile app, your mobile app has to be as good as WhatsApp and Instagram and Telegram and whatever, right? Because your consumers don't know. I mean, they don't care about your lack of resources. They are using like all the number one rated apps in their own category 95% of the time, and so
yeah,
their expectation from your mobile app is extremely high. Very similarly, purchase teams in organizations who are buying SaaS products are being pitched by other salespeople who are using AI agents. So that means that the purchase team's expectations of how they are treated during the sale, what quality of documents, what quality of presentations, what quality of comparisons, what quality of quotes and proposals that they receive, and what quality of emails and responses do they get from the sales team over the
yeah,
next 3 4 5 years is going to be so high that if you are using only humans and not like humans plus agents, then you're much like how you will think that a mobile app is clunky because your expectation is so high using other apps. Exactly
yeah,
that way, the purchase team of an enterprise or a mid-market company that's looking to buy a SaaS platform for solving a particular use case will have their expectations set so high because your competitors are using all of those AI agents, right? So their treatment has to be significantly better. So I think that's another piece that I wanted to add. But sorry, over to
yeah,
you, Jay.
yeah. 100%. No. So the next part, like just to add to that, the impact. What impact does it create, right? If you utilize AI in your sales, and especially have AI agents in place. So overall, 63% faster replies could be possible because you're utilizing it in your chatbots, in your websites, uh, also in your products as well. Wherever any question is arriving, there could be 22% more conversions. All these numbers are basically from certain set of reports that we have gathered upon related to SaaS, and just putting it here, right? So 28% more demo bookings, 40% after hours also gets improved, 52% shorter cycles for self-serve buyers as well. Now, one may ask on why and how self-serve journeys can be reduced through AI agents, but consider it this way: that if there is any, let's say I'm using one of these SaaS products, and I just started with my trial period. Now in this case, I am I know that I want to I just want to check some feasibility, and if it's helpful for me, maybe I want to go ahead and buy it through self serve. I don't need any salesperson in this area. But if the product is having lots of features and if my use case is very specific, now for instance, if I'm using it, if there are certain agents built in a way which can first of all predict the use case, or you can say the usage timing from my side on how I'm utilizing the platform. And if it was already, if someone like me who has already done this hundred of times and then went ahead with the purchase through certain features, then certain things can prompt to a certain part of our platform, and maybe from there a new pop-up can come through chat or any other ways, and then this self-serve journeys can be improvised as well. So it's ultimately all about utilizing AI wherever possible in predictability, and based on that, just creating something very personalized and just doing it. So like humans may not be able to do it that efficiently or up to that extent, is what each and every slide ultimately tries to tell, and that's why we should have more of AI in our platform. So yeah, to answer what you asked, Yash, in much detail. So basically, AI sales agents are basically, we are talking about AI powered software that autonomously performs sales functions, and obviously, it's not just going to be one tool that we might be using. It's I mean, I would say deep integration between multiple tools and getting the outcomes. So what it does basically is utilizes NLP, workflow automation, and sales logic. It makes decision based on sales context and customer interactions as well. Unlike the basic chatbots, it can actually execute the actions and not just respond to the queries, right? So earlier chatbots were more about some data is already fed, so based on the question that comes up, it just answers. Over here, it's not just about answering but also executing. So consider utilizing it as a ticketing system
Yeah.
as well, where certain queries are being asked. Response to that is already covered up, but then if a new feature is requested, in that case, sending out feature request form, but then also getting its entry added inside, or just from the chat entry being added inside our overall board where
Hmm.
new feature
So
requests are.
stuff like move my plan from silver to gold and add three licenses, right?
Yeah,
That you needed a person to sort of do that,
yeah,
and now an agent can just do it by like within the platform itself.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So Jay, does that also mean that the agent needs to have access to my knowledge base of apart from the tools also? Is that the case over here?
Yeah, yeah, definitely needs to have an access to knowledge base. And once we move ahead, Kaushik, we'll also define on what sort of, we'll also, I mean, not necessarily today, but later on when we have other series of plans, we'll talk about what priorities we should have, and then based on that, what needs to be kept upon. So I'll answer that
Yeah.
question in next slides for sure.
Yeah, and not just like knowledge base, it also needs to know the user roles and rights within the system, right? So like as
Yeah,
an example, all of our company uses ClickUp. If ClickUp deploys an AI sales agent, my intern shouldn't be able to change our plan, right? So,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
my intern shouldn't reach out to the ClickUp AI agent and say, hey,
yeah,
upgrade us from whatever grow plan to enterprise plan and add 50 licenses or whatever.
yeah,
So it also needs to know that the person who's talking to them actually has the authority to do it.
yeah, indeed. So yeah, definitely. I mean, for sure. So just to add to that, if we talk about from sales standpoint, what AI agents can do, so they can be it could be inbound qualifiers as well. um, I just you said they can be instead of it can be. You see how it replaces humans with
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
So I
interesting.
mean, yeah. So inbound qualifiers, right? So understand, like it would screen and qualify the website visitors and leads as well. So this we have discussed it time and again, so I'm not utilizing much time there, but it just qualifies the lead in whatever way, shape, or form possible. Outbound prospectors are basically, it identifies and engages the potential customer. So it just the enrichment part we discussed upon in outbound standpoint earlier. It just one of the those use cases. The third could be product explainers. Fairly simple. It would answer and deliver personalized demos based on whatever information is feeded, but not just the information that is feeded. It also has a capability of utilizing more about your profile. So if, let's say, Kaushik is signing up on any of the platforms, it just doesn't take the three fields. It takes typically three fields of name, email address, and some additional information. Then the next onboarding part could look like what you are here for and things like that. But not only these, it also on the back end checks about what that particular email ID, what information with that particular email ID holds, right? So it's Kaushik at Momentum 9. I mean, if your email ID was Kaushik at Momentum91.com, then in that case, what Momentum91.com does based on that also, it perceives certain information, and then it will be more personalized product explainer video that is generated. So that's how we are talking about utility of AI in every aspect, right? The next is deal advancers. So it basically follows up on proposals and handles the objections. So a human is not needed on that particular part, but those things can be catered up. Earlier follow-ups were also possible through automation, but now we are more talking about handling the objections, generating content, understanding what the prospect is asking on, and then just answering it accordingly. Yeah.
And so deal advances is largely that happens on emails, is it, or even calls, or so I'm basically what I'm trying to know is like when I'm doing a video call with a prospect, are we expecting an AI agent to join on that video call, or is this following up on LinkedIn, email, WhatsApp, or
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah, so here it's more about so when we say deal advances here, is this an example given on proposals? So proposals follow up would
Hmm.
likely be on email message. It could also
Got it.
be on over a call as well if that setup we want to do, right? So now that is possible. As you also mentioned last time on AI
Yeah.
voice agents, so that is also possible.
Yeah.
Whereas
Got
if
it.
since you mentioned about joining on call, so we as we discussed earlier that there could be some AI. There are AI tools which basically help sales reps on improvising on their conversations right in at the
Yeah.
time they are in the meeting. So it also gives you certain insights and tells you what next to talk about and things like that. So uh,
Got it.
deal advances can be that as well for sure.
Got it.
Talking about the capabilities as we talk, so uh, it will have a natural conversation with contextual understanding. So that's the benefit. Integration with CRM and sales tools ecosystem is obviously possible, and that is needed. Otherwise, this won't be possible. The third would be execution of multi-step workflows with conditional logic. So this thing I would like to take up in much detail in next sessions where we are, trying to build a workflow and setting it up in building an AI agent for a sales process. Then seamless handoff to human representatives when needed. So handoff also can be possible when as and when needed for a certain set of processes. So overall things get covered up from capability standpoint. uh, to quickly discuss upon certain use cases, here are some. So let's say inbound lead qualification. So it does the initial engagement. It needs assessment and qualification criteria verification. So just to give you an example, Drift basically reduce its sales cycle by 33% using just AI qualification, right? Uh, Same way from outbound prospecting standpoint, we have already discussed time and again on how hyper personalized a message could be, overall outreach could be, how follow-up sequences can follow, and how meeting can be scheduled also very effectively just through AI. So Outreach.io achieved 35% higher responses rates with AI personalized cadences. So that in itself is an example of it. Um, the third would be checking the proposal status again, which we discussed on the previous slide as well. So DocuSign increased its deal velocity 28% with AI assisted follow up. So what basically it does is, if I am prospect who is supposed to sign, some third party or some vendor has provided me a proposal with, then if I have some questions, I can just ask right in that document, and those will get answered up, and I don't need a third person. Obviously, this does not mean that salesperson should not be notified about the same. They will get triggers that okay, this person has asked a question, and if there is any additional help you may want to do. So it basically helps the salesperson in a way, but it gets the job done as well.
So, Jay, just a question over here. So, could you tell at which part is in the sales process is our AI agents enabling me to do something? Similarly, at which part are they replacing a particular person? So, where is it happening exactly?
This is very vast question, Kaushik, because as we talked about in entire sales process, if we see it all.
Let's take one instance. You can take any one instance. For example, you could just talk about
Yeah,
outbound
like
call.
an example, just
Yeah,
Yeah, so let's talk in outbound standpoint, right? So if things are very well set later on, what happens is from finding the data to writing a messaging for that, and then to doing the outreach, then to handle the objections on getting the idea from outbound is to get a meeting book for any business, for instance. Then in that case, finding the data of right set of target customers, optimizing, I mean, just writing down the message or sequence for that through email, LinkedIn, or whatsoever communication platform that particular target group is present at. And from there to getting meetings booked, all of these processes can be done through AI, but what we need is the right workflow to be set, and right context to be given, so that this thing is well set. Ultimately in the meeting I would have to go, because so as if you asked on where a human interaction would be needed, so I would say largely in the entire sales process the main conversation that happens would be needed. But from
and
SaaS,
even the first one, right? And even the first one, which is defining who our ideal clients are and what are their pain points and what is our value prop, right? So the
yes,
first piece, like having an extremely strong, very pinpoint definition of ideal customer persona. And yeah,
yeah.
sorry, yeah.
No, that is very important. Thanks for adding that, Yash. I missed out on that. So that is very well needed, because consider you have set up very good processes and built a very good AI sales agent. I had a lot of great integrations from amazing tools inside it. But if you are not able to position, if you have not positioned well, if you have not targeted your groups accordingly, then it ultimately won't give the results we need, right? So all of these definitely, so it's more about reducing time, increase it, it's all about, I would say, reducing the time and being more and more hyper personalized and active, or more efficient. But then ultimately the strategy part is where human interaction would be very well needed. And the second part would be the main, if it's a larger ticket size, if it's not a low ticket size, I would say in the larger ticket size also, or for products where it's not just about some customization, but then there is no predictability on what sort of questions or queries could arrive from prospect, I would say in those cases human interaction would still be needed for closure. So yeah,
yeah,
Got it.
does it answer the question, Kaushik?
yeah.
So talking about how, right? So I to be honest, will go very deep into this later on as well, but just to give some insights on how to do this. So here are some step by step processes on what you need to do. So first would be identifying the use cases, of course, determining the specific areas where AI would be helping the sales process. So for that, one needs to have a very well defined sales process, and then define on where AI should be used in the same. Mapping these whole processes on how overall a prospect's journey is, and then from the same way what sort of workflows would be in place, and so that we can integrate AI solutions accordingly over there. Implementing the tech stack. So now, since we have understood what use cases are there, finding and deploying the right technology to support that is very much important. And then the last part would be testing and optimizing it. So obviously one has to continuously evaluate and perform. So when it comes to implementing AI, it's always about testing and optimizing, and that's how AI in itself has functioned so far, right? So even it's not like you have established AI sales agent for your business, it will work everything, it will replace everything which was there earlier. It's not like that. Eventually it gets better, and then you can eventually utilize it by replacing the old processes. So just to get into it, like just to give you some idea on core components which are needed, it would be LLMs, orchestration layer, vector database, workflow automation, which is very much needed for building AI agents, N18 is very good example for the same. We are going to showcase an example, as I mentioned earlier, in the next one of the next sessions as well. And you need definitely integration APIs. The right places where you're currently everything like out, whatever your outreach platform is, where your calendar is, where your CRM is, you need right integration APIs for the same as well. So, yeah, these are the core components which we had talked much in detail about in last one of the sessions taken by Yash as well. So yeah, we can refer to that if there is any further understanding needed in those areas. Talking about integration points, obviously we need customer data, so we need to integration. We need CRM systems in place, for communication, email, chat, and messaging platforms to be in place. Obviously, knowledge base scheduling. These are very basic, so I'm just moving real fast. Just let me know if there's any question with it. Automation logic is obviously needed. So prompt engineering is needed for sales specific instructions, right? So we need like retrieval augmented generation for product knowledge. As you mentioned, that product documentation would be there, but if there is a large amount of data along with the roles and each and every aspect, so we need that particular data, and then we need some RAG setup on that. Workflow triggers and conditional logic is also something which is needed. So these are just basic step by step things on what would be needed. From testing and deployment standpoint, uh, from testing framework, conversation simulation testing would be there. A/B testing would definitely be needed, just like how in basic sequence also we have it here for the whole processes. We would like to have that, and then see where which workflow which we have planned upon works well.
It feels like each bullet point is one like requires at least
One
one live
session.
session, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's one session
yeah, it's
per,
not. Yeah, of course.
per bullet point. Yeah. So thank you for thank you for saying that this will be a series, right? So this
Yeah,
is just sort of a table of contents for like a book, like a Song of Ice and Fire. Like each
yeah.
each of them, like it's a lot of things, but interesting.
Yeah, but this is more like highlighting on one should be aware of before actually getting started on, like, so we can consider as a very, as you mentioned, table of contents on what would be needed. But just to get started, these are certain things one should be aware of, and then maybe we can take things forward. So yeah, obviously deployment strategy is also there. So just want to quickly discuss that as well, that we need to first have a limited scope, and then human in the loop should be there initially, so that some supervision is there, and see how the things are performing. Because imagine you just say that, hey, I'm just utilizing AI sales agent for reaching out to 10,000 of my prospects. What if things were not said well, and what wrong sort of messaging goes on from your brand? So it's a problem, right? So you have to start small, have supervision from human for sure, and then gradually you need to expand that, and go ahead with the automation. So yep, so just this is just a view, and this could be subjective from organization to organization. So initial first 2 months could be more of utilizing and mapping the processes. Third month would be more of implementing the tech stack, and fourth would be pilot rollout, and then you start gathering feedback, and then start optimizing on that area. Yeah, so just to give a quick takeaways from this particular session, it's more about maximizing ROI. So one thing is that we are utilizing it. It's very cost heavy for sure, but obviously the whole idea in the process is about maximizing the ROI. The second would be
It's not cost heavy. I'll tell you what.
yeah,
I'll tell you what. It's just how do you think about it, right? So, like as a business owner, if you are running a SaaS company that's selling to mid-market or enterprises, imagine a scenario where you hire a salesperson who's either inefficient, or you hire a salesperson who's not effective, right?
yeah.
So and then if you think about it, it's not cost intensive at all. Like
That is yeah,
having a small sales team, a particular geography for a particular vertical that is inefficient. If you just put the numbers, I mean, it's so that piece is so cost intensive that just thinking about it makes me fearful. So my spidey sense starts to tingle. So so
and
yeah, but please, yeah.
yeah,
But like as you mentioned, if you actually scope your tasks precisely and match it with the right cost optimization that is needed, it is not that cost extensive. We actually have done those exercises while we try to implement,
Yeah.
right? So that is the first thing that we arrive upon, and
Yeah.
we know
Yeah.
that it is. So yeah.
Yeah, right. And whether one chooses to go ahead or not with AI agents, their competitors are going to, and they are going to be way faster in
Yeah.
coming weeks and months of time. So there is no going back.
Yeah, this is exactly like building a good quality mobile app, right? So
Yeah,
15 years ago, all the media companies did not publish mobile apps, and but people started consuming since media companies were not on, they didn't have mobile apps. People started consuming media on social media,
Yeah.
right? And so they would follow like Wall Street Journal, or they would follow New York Times on social media, and seeing that they had to build mobile apps, and very early first versions were clunky, and then they had to become significantly better over a period of time. So it's the exact same thing. If you are not doing it, your competitor, the industry is going over there, and it has to be. It's just a reality that we have to all
Adapt.
essentially just adapt.
yeah, indeed. So yes, I mean, as we can see, the key takeaways would just be on, obviously this is more for maximizing your ROI, and you need to start with small projects for sure, for the reason mentioned in the previous slide, and leverage mix of expertise. Why this is needed is just one salesperson sitting and just building AI sales agent for them would not work. There needs to be some information from different domains, I would say, which are relevant for the product, and then those information should also be kept along with, for sure, to make sure that output is efficient. Yep. So yeah, that's it. And as I mentioned, we can have next session for where we actually take you and walk you through how to build your own AI sales agent for your business. So we can do that in the next session as well.
Yes.
And so, surprise, surprise, we do those implementations as well. So if you want to check it out, then you can consider reaching out to us. Happy to get on a discovery call, which is where we can help you identify what are the places where improvements can happen, and what are the places where these things can be implemented. But until such time, just thank you, Jai, for putting this together, for for writing all the bullet points that we are going to cover in the sessions in the future. This, I think, is a great starter for us to sort of have a direction in terms of what are the pieces of content that we will be covering over the next few weeks. But for today, we are already at the 37-minute mark,
Yeah,
and we didn't realize that we are going over time. So
yeah,
this was a perfect mix of sort of understanding and setting the tone for future conversations as well. So thank you for putting that together. Thank you everyone for joining in. For people who are watching or listening on YouTube or LinkedIn, I don't have a bad joke, or I don't have a dad joke for you this time. So in absence of that joke, if you just as a gift, right? So me not saying a dad joke is also a gift, and as a return gift, if you can subscribe, that will be great. It gives us great encouragement to keep on putting our thoughts and ideas and knowledge together and sharing it with all of you guys. But thank you for joining in, and we'll see you again next time.